Hi guys, I'm Mike.
And I'm Stephen.
And this is Indy Fanatics, your home for IndyCar content with weekly podcasts and feature videos. Welcome back to the channel and to another feature video. Last time out, we concluded our History of IndyCar series, so if you haven't already, check that one out. Don't forget, if there is a driver, team or topic you'd like us to talk about in the future, comment below.
But today we return to our Who Is series. Last week, Dale Coyne announced their first driver, Ed Jones. So we thought it would be perfect time to look at the career of the returning driver. So here we go. It's time to ask, who is Ed Jones?
Ed Jones was born on the 12th of February 1995. He is an Emirati-born British racing driver who has represented both the British flag and United Arab Emirates flag through his racing career, but has now settled with the UAE representation. His career also started there, beginning karting at the age of 9, competing in local tournaments. In 2005, Ed would claim the United Arab Emirates Karting Championship before in 2008 moving on to the European karting scene. He would race in the Rotax Max and KF3 categories until 2010.
In 2011, Ed would start his single-seater career. Jones would race for Fortec Motorsport in the newly formed Intersteps Championship. He would finish 4th overall, claiming 1 win to his name. That year, Ed would also part-time compete with Fortec Motorsports in the Formula Renault 2.0 and the British Formula Renault Championship, but he would achieve nothing of note in both championships, being a non-classified finisher in both. The end of the season would see Jones compete in the Formula Renault UK final series, where he would place 15th overall with 42 points.
In 2012 and 2013, his partnership continued with Fortec Motorsports. 2012 saw Jones compete in the Formula Renault 2.0 NEC series, where he would secure a podium and 85 points on his way to 20th in the championship. He also competed in the Euro Cup Formula Renault 2.0 that season, though his only points finish came at Le Castellet, and he would finish 27th overall. 2013, he would compete in both series again, but this time he would go podiumless in the Formula Renault 2.0 NEC and instead gain 2 podiums in the Euro Cup Formula Renault, which helped him on the way to 11th place in the championship. It is fair to say that at this point, Jones's single-seater career has been pretty uninspiring, though he was competing in some of Europe's most challenging categories. But 2013 wasn't all doom and gloom.
No. Jones would win the European Formula 3 Open Championship for Team West Tech, beating championship rival Sandy Stuvik. Despite missing the opening round, he would secure 6 wins, 4 poles, and a total 10 podiums on his way to racking up a championship clinching 130 points. Ed also competed in the British F3 national class that year and would come 3rd in the championship. Ed would only compete in half of the rounds, but out of those 6, he won 5 of them and secured 4 pole positions, so an impressive return from the Emirati driver. In Ed's last season in Europe, he would compete in the FIA F3 European Championship for Carlin Motorsports. Despite not competing in 12 races and not starting a further race in the 33 race calendar, Jones finished 13th in the championship with a best result of 2nd at race 1 at Hockenheim. To put into context of some of the guys Ed was competing against that year, this was the year Esteban Ocon won the championship and Max Verstappen came 3rd, both who progressed onto F1. Other drivers of note include Antonio Giovinazzi, Nicholas Latifi, and fellow IndyCar competitor Felix Rosenqvist. This would be the end of Jones's European career, as he would then cross the Atlantic to the United States for 2015.
That's right. Ed Jones would now join the Indy Lights Championship, maintaining his partnership with Carlin, and he would take pole and victory in both his and Carlin's first event on the streets of St. Pete. He would repeat this feat in the 2nd race at St. Pete and would also win the 3rd race of the season at Long Beach, leading the most laps in all 3 races. To say that he got off to a bit of a flyer is an understatement. He would gain another 4 podiums, racking up a total of 324 points, 6 behind 2nd place Jack Harvey and 33 behind the season's champion Spencer Pigot. In 2016, he remained with Carlin with only 2 wins this year at Barber and Indianapolis GP, but a further 6 podiums. Jones would clinch the title in a very tightly contested battle with rookie Santiago Urrutia. 2 points in fact, and the season finale came with controversy. Running 5th in the last race, Jones was barely doing enough to claim the title as Santiago was running 2nd. Felix Serralles, Jones's teammate, was running 4th and allowed Ed through to help him clinch the title. What are teammates for, eh? But after his 2 successful seasons within the Indy Lights category, it is now time for Jones to step up to IndyCar.
That's right, and Dale Coyne was the team that beckoned for him, racing in the number 19 car alongside the experienced Sebastian Bourdais. Edward finished 14th with 5 top 10 finishes, including a season-high 3rd at the Indy 500. He beat teammate Sebastian Bourdais and claimed Rookie of the Year. Though to put into context, Sebastian did have a crash during qualifying for the 500 that saw him sit out most of the season with fractured to his pelvis and right hip, and Ed was the only full-time rookie. Nonetheless, it was still an impressive start to his IndyCar career that caught the eye of Chip Ganassi, who he would sign for the 2018 season. But with only 8 top 10 finishes, including podiums at Long Beach and Detroit, Ed would be replaced after just 1 season for Swedish driver Felix Rosenqvist. In 2019, Jones would move to a part-time seat with Ed Carpenter in partnership with Scuderia Corsair to run at all non-oval tracks plus the Indy 500, and Ed would score only 1 top 10 finish at the Indy GP. In 2020, Ed was without a seat and was due to race for Audi in DTM before COVID restrictions prevented his participation.
It looked like Ed's career in IndyCar may be over. After a promising start at Dale Coyne, it had fallen away after a tough first season with Ganassi. But in 2021, Jones's Indy career has been thrown a lifeline as he has returned to Dale Coyne, this time taking up the number 18 seat and will race a full season for them. A guy who has shown plenty of potential throughout his junior career, especially in Indy Lights, he just hasn't quite found his feet yet in IndyCar. But with Dale Coyne, he has another opportunity to show what he's got.
That rounds off our video on Ed Jones today. We hope you have enjoyed finding out a bit more about him as a driver ahead of his full-time return to the series in 2021. Don't forget to like, subscribe and ding that bell.
Ding it! So for now, you Indy fans, keep racing!